What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Scyushi and we are back games more Genshin Impact. Today we're actually going to be talking about the patch notes, which we're going to be going over very briefly because the in-game notice already kind of explains it very well. But we're also going to talk about the potential of the next update because Genshin, officially on Twitter, ended up talking about the two new characters, one of them being Gorou, who is going to end up being a Geo 4-star character, which is going to end up using a bow, and Itto, which is another Geo character, and this is going to end up being a Geo Greatsword character, which basically there hasn't really been that much info about them yet. However, the fact still remains that one thing you may or may not have noticed is that they will only officially talk about characters that are coming soon. So potentially we're going to be seeing Itto as the new 5-star character coming in version 2.3, the next update. And with it, we're going to probably see Gorou in there somewhere as well, either in Itto's banner or in one of the other banners, which we're kind of expecting is going to end up being a rerun, which don't know which character they're going to end up having for the rerun, but the fact still remains that they're going to end up having the one character come out and then probably end up having a rerun. Now, there is something that is going to be changing very significantly, not necessarily with version 2.3, but just with the character banners in general that a friend of mine ended up telling me about, which we will talk about in a moment because I want to talk about the update itself. But before we get started with the rest of the video, guys, I gotta interrupt and let you guys know about these Genshin Plushies because I ended up getting these sent to me and they're actually really high quality, so they wanted me to basically talk about it in a Genshin video. Personally, this is the only thing that I asked for, which is the Zhongli pillar, and as you can see, my dogs absolutely love it. It's actually really high quality and a very, very nice cushion. They also really want to eat Baron Bunny, which totally makes sense because Baron Bunny looks delicious. Like, look at this. Look at this. No. Honestly speaking, the only reason I asked them for Baron Bunny on top of the Zhongli pillar was I thought that the Baron Bunny would be immediately more appealing to most of you watching. They also sent me like a crap ton of like really cringy stickers, most of them just being weird, like my fiance looked at these and she was like, why is it all naked girls? And I thought, yeah, because that's what Genshin is. I'm probably gonna throw them all in the garbage though. GenshinPlushies.shop. That's where you can get them. Back to the video. So the new update that we just got yesterday is going to end up actually including a new island. So you'll actually go and talk to Catherine right here, and then you'll end up getting a quest which is, it should be like right over here in the garden section or down over here or something. Frankly speaking, I thought that it was actually just one of my bounty missions, so I was skipping through it all, and my god, there was a slog of dialogue. Like, it just goes on and on and on. So if you're someone that doesn't care about lore, start skipping like crazy because it just doesn't stop talking. But the point is that eventually it takes you to Rito Village, and then there's a dude there that you're going to talk to that is going to end up sailing you to the new island. So the funny thing is, you can physically sail all the way down to the new Tsurumi Island, or you can end up just doing the quest line, which I would highly recommend that you end up doing the quest, just because otherwise it's quite a sailing trip. I mean, there is a new one-time only domain that you can end up unlocking along the way, so it's not that big of a deal. But also, when you end up actually getting here, make darn sure that you activate the Statue of the Seven. So he's going to actually drop you off right there, so you can grab the little sailboat thing, and then you can grab the statue. Now, this whole island is actually covered in a dense fog, and if you've played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you already kind of know how this is going to work, because if you think that it looks similar to Lost Woods, you are not wrong. As you go into the deeper fog-ridden areas, you're actually going to be teleported out. But co-op seems to break that, so you can actually pretty much explore the entire island so long as you're in co-op. Just shh, don't tell MiHoYo about that. But anyways, we'll go through the other notices because that's going to be the big general changes. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me go to the archive right here. I've only fought one of these guys, but there is a new enemy type that is on the Fog Island exclusively. The funny thing is that the lore talks about these guys being in Wolvendom, which is in Mondstadt over by the weekly wolf boss that we end up fighting, but I haven't actually seen any of these guys there, which is a little bit disappointing that MiHoYo kind of forgot their own lore. But anyways, These creatures kind of suck. They're not super tanky like specters are, which are those, you know, little balloons that you ended up fighting on Kokomi's Island or Coconut's Island. But these guys are going to end up having corrosion. So anybody who ended up participating in the more recent Spiral Abyss, you'll notice that you would end up killing an enemy and then you would get the corrosion tag, which slowly drains the health down of all of your party members, regardless of you having a shield. These guys do that if they tag you, which actually sucks. The reason for this is because they're trying to push the healing meta and make it more important, or seem more important. I got Kokomi, so I'm okay in that regard. But generally speaking, you know, Barbara, Jean, like, just so long as you just have a healer in this area, you probably won't be able to have like what I normally do as a 4-team DPS, but you're just not going to be able to do that anymore. These are actually the weaker version of the pups. There's going to end up being much more powerful ones. But if we go into the notice board, we can just go to the content overview. So you're going to see that there's the new island. As we end up doing quest lines in this area, we will end up getting rid of the fog slowly over time. So I'll probably be doing that in streams. We've got the child character banner rerun for whatever reason. Nobody asked for it, but it's here. Child's a really cool character, but I mean, frankly speaking, I think we're all just going to be waiting on Itto. And then after Child's banner, there's going to be the Hu Tao rerun, and includes the new 4-star character Toma, which I'm sure lots of people are actually waiting for Hu Tao more so than Child, just because of how she scales and how powerful she is, and everybody wants waifu characters, you know how it is. But there's going to be new events that are coming around as well. I don't think that these are live just yet. They might have started today. I'll have to double check, but basically there's going to end up being kind of a roguelike dungeon. So I've heard from various sources what this is going to end up being like, and it seemed really, really cool. The devs kind of ended up talking about it a little bit on their live stream, but basically what happens is it's going to be a dungeon that you'll go into that's similar to a domain in Inazuma, where as you're going through it, the mobs are going to be random, the treasure and loot that you're going to be getting is going to be random. Overall, you're going to get, you know, Prima Gems, a crown, and the usual stuff that you get from events. There's also going to end up being some new hangout events or dating quests, which is really, really cringe, and I don't care, but whatever. Freaks can end up going on a hangout session with Seiyu, but oddly enough, we actually have a Toma hangout session before his character is even in the game, so maybe it could end up giving a little bit more backstory towards the character. I generally don't participate in the hangout events. I don't really like them in terms of their content. There's going to be the new domain, as we ended up mentioning previously, which is just in the middle of the ocean. It's just a one and done. There's also going to end up being the new weapon banners. So there's the new 5-star bow that everybody thought was going to be for Ganyu. Turns out that it's actually for Child. And then there's also going to end up being these new 4-star weapons, as you can see right here, which the Polearm Wavebreaker's Fin is specifically designed for Toma. So you could go for that if you really want. There's the new Rift Hound Whelp, and then the actual big boy Rift Hound, which you can see right here. They have different elements. So there's Electro and Geo as it stands right now. I don't know if there's anything more to that. Oh, I also want to add this after, because I kind of forgot to talk about these because for some reason they didn't mention it in the patch notes. But there's a couple more really important things. One of them is that on mobile devices, you were able to just tap to pick up all of the items in the area. Now we actually have that on both PC and console, so it's really, really nice. There's also a new type of box that you can end up finding out in the open world, more particularly on the Fog Island, and I'm assuming in future islands in the game, where basically it's going to end up giving you some furniture stuff for your Serenity Pot. Speaking of the Serenity Pot, there is actually the new Inazuma theme within the Serenity Pot. And in order to end up unlocking this godly beautiful area, you have to actually have your Sakura tree at level 40, and then you have to consume the item that you end up getting at the tree. So I've got another video that's going to talk about the Serenity Pot in a little bit more detail. And last but not least, we ended up finally on PC and Android and mobile devices. Where is she? I guess I don't have her in my party for whatever reason, but we ended up getting a free 5-star character, Aloy, which was originally a character only available for PS4/PS5 players in the last update, but they ended up getting the character for free, and now we have the character for free. It should just show up in your in-game mail. Now, one thing that I do want to mention before we call it for today's video, just because most of all is focusing on the patch notes, I'm going to be grinding out this island on stream and so on and so forth. So that's where you guys can end up checking that out if you want to end up seeing more. But here's something that I ended up hearing from one of my buddies, which, I mean, usually I don't like sharing this information just because it could end up being rumors rather than being something that is specifically talked about and actually ends up coming into the game. So take it with a grain of salt. But it does make sense with how MiHoYo has been developing the game. Apparently, what they're going to be doing later down the line, and I personally don't consider this to be a leak either, but I mean, hopefully MiHoYo doesn't try to sue me. What they're going to end up doing is eventually, their plan is that there's going to end up being a new character banner, a rerun character banner, a weapon character banner, and then I think the permanent banner is still going to end up being in there. I don't think this is going to end up being replaced, but basically there's going to end up being more banners in the store. So there's always going to end up being one banner that's focused on a new character, and then a rerun banner and a weapon banner at the same time. Now, here's the thing that kind of sucks. From what I've heard, the rerun banner is going to be completely different from the limited time character banner. So for those of you that don't know, I've got videos that already talk about this, but basically limited time character banners have what we call 50-50. So when you're wishing on this banner and it is your first time pulling a 5-star character, it has a 50% chance of being the 5-star character that is on the limited banner. So in this case, Child, or any other random 5-star character. That's what the 50-50 is called. Now, the thing is that if you end up losing the 50-50, not getting Child, it means that your next 5-star character is going to be the 5-star character that is on the banner. So again, in this case, Child. So that's a way that you can guarantee yourself the 5-star character is you lose the 50-50, then you get the 5-star. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't end up getting Child over and over again just because you have God tier luck, but the weapon banner is entirely different. The weapon banner will actually trigger pity a lot sooner than the character banner does. The character banner pity starts after 80 rolls. That's when the game starts slowly automatically giving you like, okay, here you go. You're going to have a 5-star character, right? Whereas the weapon banner, I think, is at like 70 rolls or 60 or something. I have to double check. That's not the point. The point is that the weapon banner has this, the epitomized path. And this is pretty disgusting because what this does is the weapon banner doesn't have a 50-50 involved because of the fact that it's got 2 different weapons in it at all times, right? So what you can do is you can open this and you can select, okay, I want to get the bow, right? So you'll select that. And then what happens is if you end up getting 2 5-star weapons that don't happen to be the bow, then your third 5-star pull is going to guaranteed be the weapon that you actually wanted. It is a terrible system. It's better than it used to be, but it is arguably a terrible system because it means that you could potentially just lose. I mean, granted, I think the only people that end up spending money on the weapon banner are like Leviathans, higher than whales in terms of cash shop. But the reason that I'm talking about the weapon banner is because apparently that's what the character rerun banner is going to end up being like. It's not going to have the 50-50. It's going to end up having the epitomized path, and you can potentially not get the rerun character over and over and over again. Now, again, you got to kind of take this with a grain of salt. I could be wrong about this. I'm not out telling you guys that this is 100% factual or anything, but as far as it being a gacha game is concerned, it totally makes sense that they would end up doing something like that, doesn't it? Because gacha games always end up having like one character banner that's a limited one and then a bunch of reruns and stuff like that, right? So it would make sense. Now, I don't know if that means that they're going to end up changing the amount of time that character banners are around, whether the limited time character banner is going to be around for a longer period of time than 3 weeks, or if we're just going to constantly get new characters every 3 weeks from this point on. I don't know. I'm assuming, based on the information that I've gotten, that this could end up starting as soon as the next update, which is when Itto ends up getting added to the game. But maybe not. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I did want to share that bit of information with you guys, though, just so that you were a little bit prepared, because the reruns might become a little bit more difficult to end up getting the characters that you want, which means, of course, that you would end up having much better odds of getting the characters that you want on the limited time character banner, unless you're free to play, in which case, good luck, guys. Anyways, thanks for watching, gamers. Really just wanted to let you guys know all of that stuff and hope that you end up having fun exploring the island, as I'm sure I will.